Hey there and welcome. In this video, we're going to create kind of a blast from the past. I loved doing shrinky dinks when I was a kid, and we have a modern version of this by Grafix. It's called Shrink Film. And we're going to use this to create what I'm going to turn this is one I've already made, but we're going to make, I think, a kind of a cool closure for one of our, for my junk journal. And I thought this would be kind of fun and it would be very different. So what you're going to need is some shrink film. I prefer the matte, so I'm going to use a sheet of the matte. There are different, there's different ones that are available. There's like white, and I think there's a clear, but I've used this one. It's my favorite. And then a straw and a pair of scissors. This is a book awl. I'm going to use that to poke the hole that I need. And then I've got Sharpie markers of two different sizes. This one is a fine point, and this one is the extra fine. And then I have some printouts of some doodles. You don't have to have printouts. You can use your freehand to create these, but I wanted to give you the perspective of how this will shrink. This is this right here. So you can see it will shrink down quite a bit. So I would say, yeah. So just be aware. So I had taken some doodles, scanned them, and then I enlarged them on my computer, and then I printed them out and blew them up. So this makes it a little easier. So all you do, whether you're doing it freehand or whether you're doing it from a printout, is you just put the shrink film over the top, and then you just trace it out. So we want to make sure that we have that image on our film. And you want it to be a permanent marker. These work best, and whichever tip is totally fine. And because I want this to be a little larger, I want a bigger piece because I want to put a hole in the center. I'm going to actually add a little bit more. I'm going to bring out the flowers just a little bit because I want to make it a little bit bigger than this. More rounded with a hole in the middle because I want to use it as a closure for one of my junk journals. All right, once you have it all sketched out, now we want to trim around it however you want. You can see from my sample here, I didn't cut any of the interior parts out. I just went around it. And then with this one, because I want to use this as a closure for my junk journal, I'm probably going to put the hole right here. But because it's so big, I can't get a hole punch in there. And that's why I'm going to use my awl, or if you have a Japanese screw punch, you can use that as well. So now you just go in and you cut all the way around it. Okay, so now that it's been trimmed, I mean, it's not exactly round, so it's going to be an interesting shape. I want to put a hole right around the center so that I can use this as a closure, which I will show you. So I'm just going to use this bookbinding awl to poke a hole in it, because I don't have a hole punch that's long enough to reach into that space. So I really, I needed to have something that was a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to just trim off a little bit of the part that raises up on the back. Just put a little bit. And then, because I really want this hole to stay, I need it to be a certain size, I'm going to use a blade to make it a little bit larger. This is the pan we're going to use to cook it in. So I'm going to use that as my base there. I'm just going to make this hole a little bigger. I was hoping I could make it bigger, but I can't with the awl. There we go. Now we're starting to make, now it's getting bigger. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do now, because I want this hole to remain the size that I've made it, I discovered that using a straw helps that. All right, so I'm going to put some parchment paper on a pan, and I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to keep that straw right in the center when I put it in the oven. Okay, and then you want to bake this in your oven, and all of the ovens are, you know, different. So you might want to even just do a small little piece to test it before you do your main one. 350 in your oven, and you're going to want to bake it 2 to 3 minutes. It's really not that long. And then when you remove it, sometimes they don't come out super flat like this one. Let me show you one that did not. This one is very ridged. I don't know what the right word is. And if you immediately, once it comes out, if it's not quite flat, you can put a spatula right on it, just on top, just smash it down a little bit, and that will help. But you got to do it right away. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bake this, and then I will bring it back and we'll take a look and see what it looks like. All right, here it is, baked, and the straw kept the hole around the size that I needed it to stay. So now it is ready for me to make it a closure, and I'm going to show you how to do that next. All right, next I'm going to use some Sorry ribbon, and I've got my junk journal here, and I want to put this as a closure now on the journal. So I was gonna go with pink, but I think I'm gonna use this darker kind of mottled cream and black, which I think will look really nice with the contrast here of this. All right, so we're gonna come up through the bottom. I'm just gonna redo that. Okay. So the ribbon's gonna come up through the bottom to the top of my closure here. And I'm gonna tie a knot in the top, and then just pull it back down and then trim it. There we go. All right. Now I have this is a hole punch, so I'm going to just do this is a 1/4 inch punch, approximately where I want it to go. And then I'm going to put the ribbon now down through the hole to this side. And I've made the ribbon long because I don't really know how much I'm going to need or not need, so I'm just going to keep it long for now. There. And so when this closes, it's going to go around this way. And then it's going to tuck under and wrap around like that. And I love that this happens to be on this sari ribbon where a stitched piece has come together. So I'm gonna tail it down to here, and I'm gonna put a little knot. I'm gonna make it a little bit longer because as my journal grows and gets fatter and thicker, I wanna have a little room. And if it does get too, I can always tie another piece of ribbon onto this to make it longer. And so now I have this really cool, unusual, and unique closure for my junk journal. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you have any questions, let me know.